Good evening, everybody. My name is Fani Renders, and welcome to the stream. Oh, I've got a bit of music playing in the background accidentally. How are you doing? Let's skip this song, maybe a new one. That's much better. Well, I've decided this morning I'm going to be streaming tonight again because I had so much fun this past week to building the VoiceTrigger app. And I thought, well, why not? I've got time. Let's share some stuff. If you're in the chat room, welcome. Welcome to my stream. I'm not a pro, I'm just trying out. But what I do like is I like to code and I like to sort of socialize with my friends. So if you have a question, comments or feedback, please let me know in this chat, and then we can have a conversation about anything really. But today we're going to focus on refactoring the VoiceTrigger app. If you guys don't remember what the VoiceTrigger app was, it is, let me just maybe run this quickly and see if this works again. So now if I say hello, I get a cat sound, but it doesn't look like the VoiceTrigger is reloaded. Hello. It reloads on the screen, but it doesn't load here. Let me see what's... Dun, dun, dun. Maybe this will work. Hello. There we go. That's much better. And also something like JavaScript. That also works. So in this episode 2 of the stream, we will be taking a look at the code for this again. We'll quickly take you through the whole solutions architecture, components involved, and then we can refactor it a bit, dockerize it a bit, ship it off, and let good old Jeff Fritz know when he says JavaScript in the stream, it will play off JavaScript. I mean, it will play the horse sound or whatever sound he chooses to. So let's get cracking and let's write some .NETs. So, back again. So I've got 3 viewers in the chat room now. If you guys can tell me, the first guy that can, on the chat, tell me what should the name of this app be, I will have a surprise for you. I don't know what it is yet, but we'll think of something. So please let me know in the chat. What do you think the name of this thing will be? Because I already created like a repository for this on GitHub. So the source, the initial commit is already there. So let's see if we can think of a cool name for codename VoiceTrigger for this VoiceTrigger app. All right, so before we move on, just to do a bit of housekeeping, Martin van Stam is one of my buddies. He does office development every Tuesdays, and also do check out his our SDN cast every Thursdays. It's a podcast we have every Thursdays at around 8:30 or 8 o'clock European summertime, and thereafter I will also do some live coding if the time allows me to. So he does office development. If you're into Microsoft Office development, do follow along. And then we have Gerald Verschleis. He is a Xamarin developer working for Microsoft. He does cool Xamarin stuff. So do check his stream out. I think it's Tuesdays at 9:30 or something he streams. So do check out his stream if you're into Xamarin. And then last but not least, a guy that I missed last time is Jan de Vries, or I call him Jan Dev. It's actually easy name, just twitch.com or twitch.tv/YanDev. Check out his stream. He's all about Azure and .NET Core and C# and all that kind of things. The previous video was all about C# 8, so you can find it at his previous videos and follow along there. Great, so that's housekeeping out of the way. One thing to note is that I have a repo, like I said. It's called VoiceTrigger, and if I just update, you will see there's a source folder. That means the first version is already in source control. So today we're going to be refactoring this, add a readme, put it to Docker, ship it off to Docker, and make it kind of version. Let's make a beta version at least with this thing. See if this works. So if you guys don't like the music, I'm not really a fan of any kind of music. So let me know if you would like to request this a certain genre, and then we can get on going. There is these ones. Epic, hype, pop, ambient. What does ambient sound like? Ambient is a bit quiet. Synthwave. That's a bit that's funky. Alright, so that's a bit synthwave, and this is called Firestorm by Mintorment and Fingers. So cool, let's get cracking, let's get our hands dirty, and let's switch over to Visual Studio, where I have already VoiceTrigger, and you can totally follow along. If you want to clone this repo, fork it, do your own thing, let me quickly show you what it is. It's actually very, very easy. What you would need is a Cognitive Services account. That's Microsoft Cognitive Services for voice recognition, for voice to text. And then you would also need that's about it, actually. It runs on ASP.NET Core with Signal R. So what happens when it starts up, it loads a hosted service on the back end. And I do have let me just see if I can find it here. I've got this thing. It's a browser control on OBS that I have. If I got us pointing to localhost 5001, then that's where the application runs. And if you, for instance, then say a wake word, any of your wake words are configured in your app settings. So these are my triggers. I've got a JavaScript and hello. And whenever I say JavaScript or hello, I want to play that relevant media file. So in this case, horse or meow of a cat. Now it is shipped with the application itself. And I had some ideas to maybe make it external to application, but let's put that for aside. Maybe that's a feature for later. So when the hosted service basically opens up a stream towards Cognitive Services, and it streams my voice, my active mic, which is localhost still. It streams what I say to Cognitive Services and gets the text back as I speak it. And then I've got a kind of a recognizer running. Whenever I get a text back from Cognitive Services, it will see if the trigger words exist in that text or in that sentence, and if so, fire off a Signal R message to the client side, which is it's this page. It's an HTML page that accepts it's like a sort of a JavaScript trigger received function. And it will basically receive this whole payload, for instance. And its job is just to play that player. So each player is basically rendered as a separate media file. So we could also maybe make that more dynamic, I would say. And also in this case, it just randomly takes this one GIF that I have, like it's a normal cat. I would like to extend this maybe to a custom GIF that you maybe can define in your settings here, for instance. All right, so let's get going, and that's about it. I think that works still. Are there any questions, guys? Please reach out on the chat. Let's see if we can make this this whole thing, this whole experience as inclusive as possible and collaborative as possible. So feel free. Just I'll even give you some capuchins. Come on, guys. We can do this. Ooh. There we go. Especially for my viewers. Thank you very much. And if you just joined us, welcome. Thank you very much for watching the stream. Okay, where do we start? We have this program file. That's nothing. Let's actually do this. Remove unnecessary usings in solution. Start cleaning up this code, I would say. Okay, and then and startup, it's a normal startup file. I have MVC, got my hosted services. Do I need all these other things? I don't know. Yeah, would I need this? I have no idea. Let's keep this as is. Okay, so it has, let's start with the background service. So when the background service runs, all it does, it basically just starts the speech recognition. By the way, is there a stop? Yeah, there's a stop. So it would be nice to stop the speech recognition. So I think one way of doing this is basically going protected override, async task. Is it? Does this thing have an override? No idea. Yeah. Public override, not where. Why is this? Oh, that's annoying. Oh, this one is okay. So this one is protected. The rest execute. When is that? That's interesting. When is this called? This method is called when extension hosting starts. It implements and should return a task that represents the lifetime long-running operations being performed. Meaning that trigger when the application host is ready to start the service and stop, gracefully shut down. Okay, so what we can do is we leave it as is, and this is public, and we say stop and stop async. I could say we say await trigger recognizer dot speech recognition async. Oh, this is my own code actually. LOL. I wonder if we can actually incorporate this in the actual. No, we can't because this is a while loop. Oh, we could put a while loop in there. This trigger recognizer, let me just think if we can make this easier, because we've got this background service. Okay, so let me see. Let's await. Okay, this never gets called anyway. I think we might want to put this in here, I would say. What do you think of that? Make it a private field. maybe the implementation is a bit too bulky. That's in less code to worry about, right? So what it basically does is speech continuous recognition async. So start. You start listening. Start continuous listening. Let's do that. I'm not always a fan of this async thing, but does all async methods need to end on async? I don't really know, guys. What do you guys think? So even this this little thing, that's interesting. So this is a why is this thing now? Oh, I see. Okay, so we have that. We can just maybe throw in this loggers or something. We'd need this dispatcher. So we'd need that one. Let's see, we would need that one. What else do we need here? Logger factory. I think it's actually iLogger. And it's of type trigger recognizer background service. If that's even been used, I don't know. We have that, right? So now we can say, is that even a trigger dispatcher? Where is that used? Nowhere. I want a field of that. I want a field of that. And I want a field of that. Cool. So that's been done. Okay, now trigger dispatcher. So when this executes, okay, so we're doing that. The speech config, is that a thing? Okay, so the speech config is something different. So this was, that should be in here. And it should actually be a speech config configuration, I would say. There we go. Okay, now we have a private start continuous listening. Start listening continuously. I don't know what's the right English for this. Is this start continuous listening? I think that's better. All right. Let's see. Okay, so to be clear, I think execute means it starts and it does something. Maybe we should say we create a new recognizer. This should happen in start. And on stop we can just dispose it. We can just keep it simple and just keep it as it is. I would say just keep it as it is. Why not? Okay, so we have that. I'm gonna skip this song. This one is not really my my cup of tea, I would say. Alright, so we have a execute, and then what we want to do is start. That can happen on start. Or let's make it a bit prettier. Do that. Alright, so we have that. And then stop, what we can do is, because we have, you know what, we need to have that. Okay. I see what they're trying to do here. Which speech recognizer. Okay, so let's rather do that. Let's say instead of having a speech config, we make this a speech recognizer. And then here, we'll just new it up. I'll say this is our config, and this dot speech recognizer is that. We'll just new, we just pass the config in there. Okay, so what are we doing here now? We have a recognizer now, so this we can get rid of this one. This is called recognizer, speech recognizer. But it's difference between trigger recognizer. No, yeah, because that doesn't exist anymore, right? So Control KD, and this one. And this will move up to the in here. And then maybe this can go down like this. So while true, sleep for a second and do async stuff. Now maybe we can pass in the token here. Can we? It's not even possible to pass in the token. Is it possible to pass in the token here? Okay. Great. The chat is so quiet today. Well, let's continue. Maybe you guys are still waking up. If you are, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, guys. Hopefully my chat is working though. If it's not, apologies. Okay, so now I have that. This guy is startup logic when it starts. So I have got my minimize that for a sec. Got my public override start async, and then I can say that is my start script. Maybe just do that. So I subscribe to events. This is when I do things, and when it stops, I can say I can push that in there, and that's called a speech recognizer. Hey, Martin van Stam. Bro stream. Hey, there's a saying in South Africa called amandla. Amandla. We'll do that. I don't know why I'm doing that, but let's just do amandla. Thanks, Martin. All right, so we've got this, we've got that, all those cool things. I'm missing a semicolon here, most probably. Control ID. So this is when stuff needs to happen. This is when stuff needs to stop. And I would say that it would be wise to put in a return, or maybe just at least a base dot stop async thing in here, if there's base stuff that needs to be called. Oh wait, will that work? So I have no idea if this will work though. So one way of finding out is running it. Okay, so hello. Okay, that works. For some reason the local file, hello? The local file gets not updated for some reason. JavaScript. That's odd. JavaScript. Hello? Now it works again. So it's a bit iffy still, but in principle it still works. But this means I can now go ahead and, was this the trigger recognizer? I believe so. We can go and delete that guy. We only have the background service, which I think we only need. Keep it simple, folks. We have and then we have startup logic, we've got do logic, and we've got stop logic. As easy as it is. Because it's implementation detail, right? Okay, so now let's go further down the rabbit hole. We've got the trigger dispatcher. This gets interesting because this is where all the meat happens. So we pass in our options, which is our config. Maybe we should call this triggers. Or actually other way around. Let's keep this and call this triggers. Right, so we have triggers. We have a hop context. And this is where things get a bit shaky, I would say. We've got the last text that was said. Is it playing or not? That's the state, in a sense. Maybe let's move these guys upwards. And no, I don't have resharper. I'm not a big fan. Personal choice. Okay, so if last text is something, I want to replace whatever is in that last text. This is not optimal even. So triggers single or default. So it grabs a. Maybe we can redo this. So this is a. So it looks for a trigger. And it's quiet. So very quiet. Miracle sound. Oh, what's happening? That's better. Okay. So we have our triggers and we want to grab out a trigger that is in there. So we could say any, but we would need that value anyway. So we could say, for instance, has trigger. Let me say any. So if the text I have to analyze, we to lower that. We could say to lower here. But it will only happen on the first time. So let's keep to lower there. So on the to lower, this one. So on the lower text, does that contain my key? Any one of my my keywords. So most probably can do a kind of a union or intersect or something. I don't know which is better, but we're really talking about like 5 trigger words, not hundreds. And then we could say as trigger. Again, if it has a trigger, and it's not playing, because I don't want to trigger twice while it's playing. So if it's playing, it should just ignore it. So if you say JavaScript cats or JavaScript hello, it should take JavaScript first and ignore hello. I have my logger, but I'm supposed to use my logger here. There we go. I need to pass in my iLogger. So iLogger, that's iLogger of type. What am I doing here? This is the trigger dispatcher. Trigger dispatcher. And we say logger, and we can say this is a new field. And just like that, control dot your way around it, folks. So logger dot just log some. I wonder if we should change it to debugs. Maybe we should change it to debug. I like debugs, it's much better. So if it has, so we say okay great, so now we get the trigger. And we say okay great, we would like to get the trigger. So what is... And that's the only thing now. How do you know which one was it? Because I don't want to pass in. I don't want to pass in this whole thing again because I already did. Which one was triggered? So is there kind of overload I can use here? Pretty good. Pretty much. Nope. I'm not an expert, so maybe it's. Maybe this was not so bad idea after all. So we say if it's not null, okay, if the value is not null, okay, let's keep it like it is. Then we can keep the trigger key and the value. There's something we need to fix first before we go on, because remember what I said about this, it's only one value. So it would be great to have it an object, so we can have something like, I don't know, sound and GIF. Something in the lines of that. So we could say dum dum. We could say that, you know. So the GIF in this case, well, Do we even have a GIF here? I think the GIF is in the... no, it's not. I can make this GIF anything, actually. And if I'm not mistaken, this can be any image on the internet. So that means it cannot... okay, let's see. So GIF... this thing does it again. GIF... green screen. It's like this... yeah, John Travolta. I think that's cool. John Travolta will find that one. Copy. It's a copy image link. Let's put that, and that should be John Travolta. And what else? Trump. That's funny. That's so funny. Dot dot dot. Right, so this dinosaur maybe. I think it's kind of not really the point, but fine. Where's that cat? Oh, here we go. That's that cat, so we can keep this cat. Copy this link. You can stick this link in there. That should be fine. I want to see if this actually works. So from a... where do we get this from? Let's... I'm not endorsing getting free sounds at the moment. I'm just like searching the internet for free sounds. Free animal sound MP4 3. And maybe this one. Bird sound. Does this work? Yeah, this one works. So we need to look for a... we need to look for a tiger. Scary things. So let's see if we're looking for a horse. There's no horse here. Oh, there is. Slightly different horse, but fine. We'll just use that for now. Bunny reindeers. Thank you, Martin. So I'm also testing whether or not we can go local or external. We should be able to do that. Okay, so that's that. But because we are now having an object, it would be wise to do AI options of that object. So we'll create a new class. And we call this the trigger option. And get this. This is very cool. For those that don't know about this feature in VS, you can have your you can have a piece of your you can have a piece of your JSON. You can go to your class, for instance. I'm just putting it here. Go to edit, and if you go to paste special, you can say paste JSON as classes. Boom. And then you can paste your JSON inside as a thing, you know. Let's leave it like that. So maybe capital case that. Let's call this maybe something like sound or GIF. That's fine. JSON property. I'm doing this because the serialization happens. Is this sound like that? We can actually make it anything now. Sound URI and GIF URI. in GIF. Okay, brilliant. So now we have that. So in a dispatcher, we still have our key. So our value is now called the trigger option. That makes a big difference because the value of this thing should be a trigger option. So the value there is a trigger option, right? So I can log my key and I can call out to single R and say this is a trigger received, and then I'll pass in that key and that value, the value being the object. Maybe clean up my code a bit because this isn't needed anymore. Alright, so awfully quiet in the chat. What is your favorite Visual Studio feature? Just tell me in the chat. We can debate whether it's really the favorite or not. Okay, so trigger dispatcher. Now the thing is, do we need to sort of make a, probably for tasting purposes, right? So we can maybe do a kind of abstraction towards this. We can say extract interface. This is quite cool, and we'll keep it as it is, and then we'll use the trigger dispatcher. Now all of a sudden our code is testable. You know, and the silence hits me. Right, we don't have that, and we can say I copy, paste that in there. So now I add the singleton and I bind it to that, and of course I want to be able to configure this trigger options like that, I believe. Why is this complaining? Oh, because of that. There we go. Now everything should be fine and Dane and dirty. Because we have our dispatcher. Why is this? Oh, there's the trigger dispatcher. Okay, there's the trigger option. And we've got our hub. Hub is just empty for now. We kind of need a hub for client-side communication. That's about it. That's all we need. All right. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, now the value here is a trigger option. So we most probably can render out. I'm still deciding if this is a good idea or not. But you know, yet again, we're not dealing with thousands of elements. We're just dealing with one, right? So what we can do is we can make, well, this should be inside of the for each. And this screen should be the option, the value. Ooh, that's interesting. Oh, option. That's interesting. Oh, trigger. Ah, yeah, it's called trigger. That's trigger dot value dot give URI, and we'll just, the ID can be, for instance, we say give at trigger key. So give whatever the key is, give underscore the key, and the same here. So we can say sound underscore the key. Alright, so then the value is the sound URI. Okay. So I wonder if this will still work though. One way to find out is running it. And then it breaks. Okay, so it cannot resolve a dispatcher. Aha. Here we go. I need to include a I dispatcher because I'm now an I, you know. But now let's see if this should work, right? And if we say hello, hello, and JavaScript, she's not working. So unable to get property of undefined or null reference. Let's see what's wrong here. Ah, I see. So remember I've prefixed that stuff. So what we can do is go back to our page. We are not done yet. Or to our site.js. Get element by ID. We'll just do that. Give.key. Give ID. Okay, so that's give ID. Okay, that plays that. And then give ID. That plays that, right? But there's still not... Oh, I still need to... Okay. And this should be the sound ID. Great. So now let's see if I run this and I say hello. Hello. And it does not work. Oh no. Hello. I get back the object. Alright, that's fine. So the value here. Okay, so now I see what the thing is. So the value is played. Okay, so what we need. Do we need something else? That's the key. That's the value. Sound ID. This thing doesn't play. Is it even called sound? No, it's sound key. Interesting. Maybe it does not include. Okay, hello. I get my object in, right? So that works. View source. Index is give hello and sound hello. Ooh. Okay, see what happens here. I don't have a source. There is no source assigned to it. That's interesting. Let's debug the page. Can you believe it? Give URI is no. Thing is, does it even... Does that even use that same? Just want to test something out quickly. Just want to say GIF just for now, just to get something going, because I have a feeling that the JSON properties aren't respected. Interesting. So let's say serialize or JSON property on iOptions. Yep. This unfortunately not possible. Responsible configuration. The former is responsible for loading JSON into a configuration. The latter's job is to work in the type. Interesting. Okay, fine. We can either update our yeah, let's just update our sound URI, because it's actually a URI, and GIF URI. I don't know how you guys feel about this, but fine. Sound URI and GIF URI. Just do that, and then we'll just go back to trigger option, get rid of this and get rid of that. Yeah, apparently it's not possible, so let's see what is possible indeed. Hello. We get the sound of the cat, so if we say JavaScript, that also works. So that's fine. So the only thing now to do is to figure out why on earth security is compromised by HTTP. Okay, well, that's an issue. JavaScript issue. Is that a JavaScript issue? I don't know. The thing is, what we need to remember is that that place, that GIF ID display block, doesn't look like it's been loaded up. Index, give hello, and give JavaScript. It doesn't have source. That's strange. So I thought it had a oh, bollocks. Can you believe it? Did I change it? I did not change it, did I? Ah. If your eye. Now we should see something. Now give me a cat. Hello. There we go. And give me a horse, a JavaScript horse. That's great. So I can say cat and JavaScript. Oh, I can say hello JavaScript. That's quite cool. So we have got two now. The overlay is not so bad, which is fine. Just want to close this kids. Go here and go .NET Run. Really? Runify. Okay, now this OBS thing, I'm just gonna quickly make it one again. Now if I say, for instance, hello JavaScript, I get an awesome overlay. So you could technically fill your whole screen with stuff. JavaScript, JavaScript, JavaScript. Okay, so that kind of works. So the idea is, I wonder if I can, no, I can't really show you because my OBS is a bit stuck here. Okay, so we have this basically, so we can get rid of this folder, which we don't really need anymore. And in this this app settings, the cool thing about this is that we can either pump it in with environmental variables, or better yet, and I think we might as well do like a Azure configuration service for this. No audio play on GIFs. I don't understand what you mean. There is no audio on GIFs at this stage. You guys cannot hear this. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a sec. Hello? Oh. Hello? Is the audio now? Because I can hear audio in my ear. That's why. I understand. Martin, no audio and play GIFs, so it's because of my mixer app that's not enabled. Should be able to hear something now if I say JavaScript. Also nothing. Doesn't look like it's playing sound, but that's a non-software bug. It's a bug. Funny, why is this? Probably because I've got this. Let's try this again. Hello. There we go. That works, and that's. I just had to change my my sound settings on my computer. JavaScript. Yeah, now that works. You see? That is cool. Just to confirm, Martin, that was a sound, right? Hello, JavaScript. Sometimes it hears me as JavaScript. Is it so? Can you confirm, Martin? JavaScript, Martin. JavaScript. Now nothing works off JavaScript. Hello works. Hello. Oh, maybe this thing crashed. Did it crash? Oh, it crashed. Sequence contains more than one element. This shouldn't really happen. Okay. Okay, for now we'll just put a dispatcher. Okay, so let's just say if there's error, we'll just log it. We'll just log this error because yeah, now I feel silly because I can hear it in my in my ear and nothing came to the stream. Oh bother. We can say log error ex dot message. I'll probably put a yeah. So say ex and ex dot message. We'll just log that for now. Go back to see the dev voice trigger. Source voice trigger .NET run. So hopefully now when it runs and I say hello horse, hello. Yet again, this thing doesn't run. It's this OBS overlay. Hello. That works. And if I say JavaScript, it also works. So if I say hello JavaScript, it gives an error, but it still works. So if I say hello, that still works. So that's fine. That's good enough for now. I think that's perfectly fine. We're actually on a tight budget. It's 10 o'clock already. Wow, can you believe it? 1 hour left. 1 hour in my stream. Wow, that's cool. Time flies when you're having fun. If you do want to follow me, there's a follow button just here somewhere. It's like a heart icon. It's not like you're going to be declaring your all love for me, although I would like that. That's a follow button, so it's up here somewhere. It's a heart. So if you do please want to click that button, it will be notifying you when I go live again. So that's a kind of a subscribe way of subscribing on Twitch. Okay, so what do we have here still? Do I need this? Okay, now the fun starts. Now I don't want to Dockerize this guy. So for now, in the Docker version, we'll just ship. That's another thing. Will it actually work with? This is a local. Interesting. Was media deleted anyway? So let me see. Soundclips.com. Martin van Stam, really? Didn't you follow me previously? Thank you very much for the follow, Martin. Hooray! That's a bit annoying. Meow. Oh no. Cattle? Bird? That's cool. Crickets. Okay, so let's go for the crickets. Or the crow. Let's go for the crow. Whenever I say hello, it will play the crow. So technically this should work, right? So if I now maybe just commit and I say, okay, great, refactored a bunch. And we say commit all sync. It's committing on master. Why not? Because I roll that way. Great, so now we need to kind of Dockerize this guy. And look at that. Look at that. Add Docker support. Ooh, that's nice. That is nice. We just click Docker support to see what happens. Go for Linux. Did you unfollow and follow me just for the effect? Can you believe it? Ava301. Thank you very much for the follow, Ava. Hope that's your name. Hi, Ava. Thank you very much for coming to the stream. Welcome. Do post your questions. I will try to answer them, or your comments in the chat there. What I'm doing now, if you do not know, I am writing a voice trigger for OBS that we can overlay on our streams that will act upon wake words. So whenever I say a wake word that is configured, like in my screen here, like JavaScript, I want a certain song to play or a GIF to show. Oh, you're a voice actor. Wow, that's amazing. Maybe we can collaborate on this. Oh wow, cool. That's amazing. I've never spoken to a voice actor before. Okay, let me see what's happening here. Output. Some Docker stuff is happening. I'm not a Docker expert, by the way. Ava, if you are a Docker expert, please help me out. We'll see if we can make this work. A non-critical error has occurred while getting container ready. Your project will continue to function normally. The error was an error occurred. Okay, that's concerning. Installed. That's installed successfully. Docker response drive has not been shared. Aha. Maybe that's the problemo. I'm maybe not a voice actor, but I know what the problem is. Let's see, share drives. We need to share some of these drives. So I think maybe it might be a good idea to share drive C. Apply, just want to type in my super secret password. What is it again? I don't know what it is. That's it. Oh well. Now if you can tell me, what is a voice actor doing watching a person that codes? Do you also code yourself? That'd be great if it is. Just interesting. Just interested in that fact. So let's see if I can do this again. I'm just waiting for this thing to show off here, but it's not working, I believe. Any help would be appreciated, guys. Any help. Let's go Docker support again, see what happens. Yes. Does that even work? Oh, there's the Docker support. Okay, I see. Okay, I missed it. I missed it. Let me see if I can just quickly. Great, so I'm still there. Okay, so this Dockerfile original, Dockerfile, it's probably the same one. Let's just kill the one. So this is a Dockerfile, right? So for what we're doing is we're doing a multi-stage build, .NET 2.1. That's fine for now, I would say. Right, so this is basically how you do a Dockerfile. Yep. Okay, now what we can do is we should be able to go, if I'm not mistaken, we should be able to go to the C drive or the dev drive, our VoiceTrigger. Do I want my Docker file there? VoiceTrigger, and we say, is this, I'm not sure what, Docker bolt or something. Docker bolt. How do we go? Cool. Can we just say Docker bolt? No, we can't because we need to give it options. Alright, so they say we Docker bolt, they tag it as voice trigger. I don't know, V1 or something. Dev large. This is the V1. The repository name must be lowercase. See Docker bolt help. Right. Cool. Requires exactly one. Tag it as that, isn't it? I see. Wait a minute. We do that. That's how we build a Docker file, apparently. Building Docker file. While we're waiting for this Docker file, are there any guys in the chat that happen to also be anything else as a hobby or maybe full-time job? You guys are doing, for instance, a voice actor. I've got a voice actor here. Do I have a lawyer or someone in the chat that can come in handy one day, I would say? Waiting to complete. Alright, so that's done. Okay, now I should be able to go Docker PS or whatever that is. That's okay. Nothing is running. Docker images. I've got VoiceTrigger dev. It's got a dev trigger. Why? A dev tag. Why did it not work properly? So I can say T and the name tag format. Okay, I see. Okay, fine. Let's quickly do this again. Voice trigger V1. No such voice. Copy failed. What? It's not done. Interesting. Okay, so it's halfway through. Copy. There's something wrong with my Docker file. Let's quickly check. So it will copy whatever is in here. Maybe I should move my Docker file. I think that's maybe a good idea. To move my Docker file out of here. Maybe put it in here. I think that's better. Or not. Wait. Wait, what? But I like it in there. I like it actually in here. It's much better. Great, so let's see. Copy. Let's just copy that. Do that. And then we say restore. That. Source directory is that. Will this work though? It kind of works. Build failed. What? Program does not have a static void. Wait, what? That's interesting because it does. It builds. It does. It does. It does. That's interesting now. Maybe it. Okay, wait. I'm missing something still. What am I doing? I have no idea. That's doing that maybe? Project file does not exist. Oh no. This was correct though. Copy failed. So it tries to go there, no such file directory. And then the working directory is source. Maybe that's not right. Or not. That fails at copy. Why doesn't this work now? Okay, so first of all it needs to copy that one to VoiceTrigger. Alright, then it needs to restore that VoiceTrigger, that one. And then I make my working directory VoiceTrigger. Right. Or not? I have no idea. I have no idea. I'm not an expert. Somebody help me. How can we fix this? Alright, so let's see. ASP.NET Core, Docker, example. So it copies everything to that we have. Okay, that's fine. Then it runs .NET Restore. Then it copies everything else. I think I know what the problem is, yeah. I think I know what the problem is here. That guy is the problem. Still not. I have no idea. It's been a while. Okay, so copy the CS project in there, do a restore, copy everything else, do a publish. In this case, why do they publish? Interesting. I want to actually see if I can maybe just copy this guy, because expose 443. This doesn't seem right to me. But in any case, let's see. We've got copy all those things to that directory. .NET restore, .NET republish. We hit it out. We say VoiceTrigger dot. Why shouldn't this work? Let's see. That works. Okay, so cool. That works fine. Now if I say Docker images, I should see a v1. Cool. Now I'm very curious if this will work. Docker run. How does this work? Docker run. Docker run voice trigger. Teach me run .NET SDK commands. No. How do you run something in Docker? Docker run a command. No, that's what I want to do. Docker run. Interesting. Docker run help. A lot of things you can do here, I would say. Blah blah blah. So what's the Docker run image? That's what I had. Is the container already active? Nope. I'm Dockerizing myself here. Docker run voice trigger. Okay, well, over v1. I don't want to run anything. I want to Docker run See Docker images. There's my image. VoiceTrigger v1. Docker run. VoiceTrigger v1. Did you mean to run SDK commands? What? Yeah, but why? You're not supposed to do it that way. No, but you should be able to run it as... Let me just quickly switch on this light. 1 sec. Okay, much better. It's already in my registry, so if I say docker run this, it's the same thing. What the F? Wait, if I say docker run dev, that works. So there might be something wrong. Let me say docker. Wait, let's go back here to this big screen. Docker image remove. That one, right? Docker PS. Okay. Docker image. What? Must be. Remove. I think it's that, right? So we can safely say it's that. No such container. What? What? Docker container list. Okay, there's no containers either. Image remove. VoiceTrigger v1. Unable to move repository reference must force. No, I can do that if I really want to. Docker sample static date, the static site. Interesting. Oh, see. Okay, I see. Alright, so I think I've got it now. So if I go back to my build again, which was here somewhere, I should say here, Barney Raiders. And now, if I say run, it still doesn't work. What the F? What the F? Maybe it's not pushed yet. Maybe open this and see what happens. Docker file for beginners. Run DDD, but this should exist in Docker Hub though. Docker name, static setting. Maybe that will work. I don't know, this doesn't work though. Docker run name EDP. Okay, wait. Only renders VoiceTrigger. So and output access denied. Okay, so maybe if we go to Docker Hub. It's funny because if I say Docker images, that's a repository. That's the tag. It is locally available. Docker image remove VoiceTrigger. Let's move this one maybe. Okay, and Docker images. I'll put that images there. Great. So what does that mean? Why is VoiceTrigger? So if I go here, repos. Okay, so now let's say stream tools maybe. Public blah blah blah. We'll just create it to see. I see, okay. Can I delete this? Because I don't think. Let's create one called VoiceTrigger. Great. Now I should be able to go Docker tag funny renders VoiceTrigger to funny renders VoiceTrigger. Right, that was the one we want. V1. You can actually copy and paste that one. Let me say docker push that repo name. Okay, so access to the resource is denied. Okay, docker login. Okay, that's interesting. I have to quickly log in. That's pushing. Yay, something is happening. But it's silly that it needs to push to a thing. I don't know what I'm doing though. Maybe Ava knows. Okay, so I'm gonna try again. Docker run. Just go clean slate. Docker run funny renders VoiceTrigger. V1. What the actual F? And that's called flipper. You mean to run the .NET SDK commands? Install the SDK from blah. Docker pull maybe. Docker run. that's interesting. Did you mean to run the SDK commands? It's a bit weird. What's this? Having little expert behavior. All right. That's the case. Folks, it's because it's Linux. Pro tip, because it's Linux, it is what do you call it? Case sensitive, guys. So what we do is, can we remove the V1 maybe? The 1.1. We'll just say latest. Can we do that? I don't know. V1.1. That should work, right? Okay, now we can go back and we can say tag 1.1 with 1.1. And now we can push 1.1. And that kind of should work, right? And now if it's good, I was able to say docker 1.1, or actually this. Latest not found. Let's just v1.1. Okay, great. So now we've got something else. Keys will not be encrypted, blah blah blah. DLL not found. Unable to load shared library cognitive services. Shared object, no such file or directory. Interesting. That's a bit silly, right? Why is this not working? Oh, you know why? Maybe because it tries to... Okay, so obviously we need to... Let's do this. My eyes. So we'll say that, darn it. Top here, LD debug. This is E or something. True or something. Line 11. Okay, that's interesting. But I think it has to do with the secrets. Hello. Can I pass in environmental variables in list? Let's maybe try this. You folks are gonna get my cognitive service key now, but nevertheless. What will happen if I just say E this? Cool song. Okay, so I think it's safe to say that when we go to the config, other config, which is this one here, right? So it's mscog. Because it's Linux, we need to do that. So let's see if this really works. What is my oral? Let's see. I will recycle these keys after the stream. Your fostered balloon. Can you believe that? Let's see. We have here to the moon. Cognitive services. There's the keys. Okay, so we can just that one and mscog. I believe. Is it region or something? Region. West Europe. Also not working. Darn it. So DLL not found exception. How is that even possible? So going back here, DLL not found. .NET publish. Because the thing is, if I'm here, let's actually go to, let's actually go here. If I do this, it went and published everything here. There's cognitive services. Does that mean it doesn't work on Linux? It should, right? Because it's a .NET standard library. Is it? Where do you see that though? I don't want to link a bug now, but project URL. Let's go to new J. I think it also needs. Oh, come on, yeah. Is there any way that I can get access to this running container? Oh, can we just maybe zoom in a bit here? Docker Yes. Okay. Docker run Barney renders. She will probably not include a version there, right? So I'm going to do this properly quickly. Will that? Okay, now I want to say tag latest, and then we can say run, right? That should, okay, so that should give the same problem. Okay. How can you know what inside a Docker container? Okay. I want to see if I can LD debug. Is what? Lib or something? I have no idea what I'm doing. See. Okay, interesting. The Microsoft Cognitive Services speech does not support Xamarin Android iOS. It does include Linux and Windows support. Include native. Okay, whatever that means. I have no idea why this is not working. Interesting. So, Martin, CuppaGen won't work, my friend. Can you believe it's SD? What? Microsoft Cognitive Services Speech SDK Linux. Why is this thing not working though? Non-Ubuntu. Alright, so that is quite cool. So non-Ubuntu. So is this Ubuntu? That's the other question I want to ask myself. This one is not Ubuntu, most probably. Ooh, look at this. That might be part of the problem. I'll try this again. You're building a Docker image from Windows against a non-Windows Docker host. All files and directories to build context will have a permissions. Maybe that's part of the problem. Maybe this is part of the problem though. So they said let's do this. Let's see what we need to do to fix. I think it has to do with executing rights. This has really to do with copy and add from local Windows file systems since... Okay. How do I set the permissions? Well, that's interesting. I'm trying to build this Docker. Interesting. That's interesting. Why can I not build this thing? Okay, so Docker Compose doesn't do this, so executables that are checked into Git will no longer executable when they using arrow copy. Those files require step to be added in the Docker file. Okay. I'm lost a bit. Docker Compose build, is that a thing? I don't know. Maybe it's a good idea to do kind of this thing. I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. Is this call or something, or execute? It's command, I have no idea. If this works, it's gonna be cool. Still not working. Why is this not working? There's definitely something to do with that. Docker reset permissions. Let's try this again. I think it's interactive. That doesn't work. Same thing. Just to make sure that this is not a silly thing there. So let's create a new application, just a normal ASP.NET Core application. And then we see if the same thing happens. So basically I'm gonna copy the Docker file, stick it in here, of course. Docker file. Okay, so what do we have here? We have that, it's pretty standard, and we have web application 2. That's pretty much it, right? So we can go cmd, go docker build, and tag this as test, just to see if this is something I'm doing or something that is a real problem for cognitive services. Okay, so now if we say docker run test, that works. So it might be that cognitive services cannot be containerized. Come on, it must be able to. What will happen if I switch to Windows containers, just for interest's sake? Zoom. Let me see. If this works on Windows, then I would be so surprised. Switch to Windows containers. Switch. Hopefully that won't break anything. I'm still starting up stuff. So maybe docker ps, will that work? Okay, so let's see. Docker build, I need to build this again. It's now building for Windows, that's why it needs to be built again. it's fine, then I'll just do a Windows copy for now. It's strange. Most probably can we ship this as a NuGet package. That's also an option, but must be able to go and Docker pull run. That's the idea. While that's doing its job, let's see what happens. Pulling. I need to get more lights because my lights don't. It's funny because my lights work on batteries and it doesn't last very long. So I have this little square. It's not lighting my room totally. This seems slower on Windows, right? So darn. Okay, so let's see. Will this work? Also not. Okay. Interesting. Maybe that's a fake thing because and if I go back, way back when, to here for instance, and say run that one, still the same problem, right? Unable to load that. So let's try something else. Let's maybe kill this guy. Just to humor me for 1 second. Put in oh, you know what? I'm not doing this correctly. Okay, maybe I'm silly. Okay, we need to put in that. And we need to put in region. Okay, so that's supposed to work, right? So let's try this again. Cannot process file. It's being used by other process. What? Interesting. No, why is this happening? So what we could do is we can say we can say this. Maybe move this guy in here. I know it's not the best. The idea is to make this work at the stage. We'll pass the configuration in. We say, you know, add a field for configuration. Get this built locally. Right in there, so why bother? Okay, cool. So that builds. I will now build it again. The idea is that it on startup tries to do the DI, and now I want it to fail when it runs, so that I can actually inspect what's happening in my container. See, now it's running. Okay, so I can go, for instance, now still an exception. I go this. Oh. How do I close this now? Okay. It's pretty fine, right? If I, how do I run this now into active mode? Docker run into active. Okay, let's see. Like that. Interesting. Whoa. Will this work? What am I trying to do? I have no idea. Entry point what? Echo. Still doesn't work though. Object reference not sent to instance of object. Yep. Docker is a different ballgame. Okay, so let's go back to Docker for Linux again. And see what we can do. PowerShell. That's fine. Okay, now it's running, so we can go again, build it for the 600,000th time. Docker container stop. Okay. Where's the interactive mode? Yes. Alright, so we are inside. And the exception was weird because I see. Okay. I get it. Problem is when we build. Need to say .NET build runtime. Publish also have a runtime maybe. Exit. .NET publish. Git. Build is build runtime is .NET build Linux. Runtime Ubuntu. The thing is, it needs to build. That goes over my head. Interesting that it if I say, for instance, Ubuntu, runtime GFM. Okay, this is what I want. OS X. Okay, so maybe we should say that. Hopefully that will work. Okay, now we run it and see what happens. The thing is, it's out. What? Interesting. Okay, there's that out file. Okay, interesting. DDNet standard. That's interesting. Why is that in there? Exit. That still not works. Does not want to find this. It's interesting. How do I get this in Docker? I have no idea. But look at the time now. I think it's time for us to go out. Let me just see if I can find a libcognitiveservices.so. One last attempt to find it. Okay, so maybe this is an issue with this NuGet package. That should be solved, right? So if I, for instance, say build, then I need to execute this. Okay, so let's say we can do that. Hopefully this will work. But we will get there, absolutely. It's the same drama as I kept messing around with React routing to work with Office add-ins yesterday. Absolutely. The thing is, there's definitely an issue. Thank you for the star, Martin. Sudo not found. Really? Will this now break stuff? Please run. Please work. Okay, different error. That's a good thing. Speaker mic not available. All right, that's a good thing. Take this off. We're getting very, very close. The only thing is, I don't think this can run on a Linux container. Come to think of it, because you might need to get your mic rooted somehow. The mic not available. Exactly. Doesn't have audio on a container. Why is this thing listening on port 80? Docker run ports. I hate these ads. Okay, can I just have a normal Docker file? Okay. Still listens on 80. You see there's audio in the container, there's no audio. That's the question. Let's see what happens. Okay, this now runs here. Run this on detach mode. And I need to go and then get to be able to go and say Docker, yes. Copy that one. Container stop. Oops. Okay, now I stopped all the containers. Run that detach mode. And the name my app. Really? Okay. Let's see. Whoa. Yeah, there's my app. No value. What the hell? Interesting. Things now, if I open this, this won't work. Where's my Docker daemon? Oh. It's old, that one, that's why. Okay, what? Got an IP address, yay! Can you believe it? Okay, so this probably won't work. I need to do this whole thing again. Okay, so it's obviously not working. Okay, so basically same IP address. Not served at all. That's still listening on a port. It's not working. It's definitely something we can fix. Let's see if we can maybe Google this. One thing we didn't did not look out for. Well, I don't think it is. Yeah. I think there goes that idea, folks, because I don't think it is possible to do audio in Docker. But we've learned a lot about Docker today. Okay, but wait a minute, I have... What you can do is... This is a cool scenario. What we can do is we can still have speech containers enable customer to build blah 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 blah. just to quickly check something out. This is the service as authorized. Okay. How do I do? Okay, interesting. That's another thing we can do. We can maybe call this as a local service. And that's an idea, but fine. I wonder, maybe a way around it is to just do a NuGet package or exe or a .NET global tool. That's an idea. Well, that's an idea. That is an idea. I think we'll just take these guys out, or actually undo. Let's make that a global tool, folks. We'll also undo this this little guy. Okay. What we can do is let's can this Docker idea for now. What? And then what we'll do is we'll actually can everything. And what we'll do is, folks, we will create a .NET Core App 3.0. That actually work inside Visual Studio? I doubt it. Okay, so let's make it a global tool for some reason. Create a global tool, create a top, let's say, we have that. Okay, so what do we have? We have package tool, tool name. We can stick that in there. We can say it's VoiceTrigger. Then we can go and say yeah, let's quickly add this as well to make sure. Let me go .NET Pack. What? This project cannot be packaged because packaging has been disabled. That's packable. Okay. That's interesting. That's weird. And now what they say is tool install, blah blah blah. Can't have let me say it's so now I see. Look at this voice trigger. Okay, it's not out. That's weird. It's supposed to work. That works. All right. What we can do is we can maybe pass in some parameters now. This voice trigger works. Well, it works, it breaks, but I know why, because of the parameters. We'll say the core configuration how do we pass it per command line? Okay. Let's see if this works though. Copy this again. I think the key was called what? Use Cog subscription ID. And also that. Can you believe it? This Cog region is West Europe. Look at that. Look at that. That deserves a double cabbage on. Cool. So if I say hello, does not work. Maybe it's because this thing is silently off. Hello. Oh, can you believe it? It's not working. JavaScript. This thing is cached somehow. Let's open up a browser, see what's happening here. JavaScript. Hello. That's weird. 404. Hello. I think this is a different bug. Hello. Okay. Interesting. This thing is working, but it's not recognize anything. Is it something I've changed? Well, that's quite annoying. Just make sure it works again. Hello. Okay, that works. And we can say JavaScript. JavaScript. The JavaScript doesn't work. Now it works. So why on earth, if I do that? Maybe because they... Hello? Hello? No, that doesn't work. Why would that work? The signal R is not even loaded here. It stripped out all the... That's interesting. There's another thing to get past. That's interesting. So pack as tool scripts script file. So there's no things happening here. Well, I believe we can do something else then. That was a bit sad because this thing on Twitter of Damien Edwards that said something about single files. I'll just highlight that one. Let me see, where was this? This was likes. Quite a while ago. Look at this. Where is it now? This one. We need publish trimmed. Oh, actually this one. Publish single file. Let's just do this. Let's do this. Let's undo. Actually, let's undo everything. Make a new property group, and then we say this property group is runtime identifier is nothing. So if it's something, publish single file true. See if this works. So now what we can do .NET build release R configuration release. I think that's concerning what? Okay. The building for Win10x64. So what that will do is now create a single executable that we hopefully can just run, right? Out. Why is out there? Publish. Oh. Needs to be a self-contained application, because if we go to okay, well, I don't know why that's not working, but fine. Why is there out directory here? A NuGet package. That's annoying. Publish. Save. I see. Must publish. What? I'm confused. What? Okay, well, that kind of hurts my eyes. I see. Trick option was even used. I don't need this. But let's see what happens. Okay. Yeah, publish directory. Really? Open debug, why? Let's try that. Now we have this, which is quite cool. Question is, if we run this, will it work? No, it breaks. So, okay, so basically we are I think a way around this is to do the following. I would say that you create just build it. You have this, right? You go .NET. You get that. Obviously need to pass in the other stuff again, like your image cog subscription ID, which is, again, that's a bit of a mission, but we'll sort it out. And image cog region is West Europe. Like that. That will work, right? So now If we say hello, nothing works. If we open up a browser and we say hello, also doesn't work. It's very interesting. Okay. Is this even... Hello? Is this even working? Where's my... How is this possible? What? That's why. And you believe it. We'll fix this, guys. We'll fix this. Watch here. It's environmental things we'll take out. And we'll put back the... How many times it's be... Net core... Global tools. Okay, let's go back there. We need to go back, blah blah blah. First need to uninstall our bot. Whatever running is here, I must cancel. So I think the problem was that it wasn't getting the signal or thing. We can solve that. Oops. By doing that. And then first we need to say these guys. Maybe do it like this still. Okay, and then we call this a voice trigger. Okay, so let's try this again. .NET pack out is noop edge. Okay, is packable true. For that, let's just put that in there. That looks like that is working. We say that and then say voice trigger. Please work. Okay, now we should get it working by going voice trigger. Obviously this won't work. Okay, this works. This one. So we need to call voice trigger with that. That will run that. Which means if I say hello, hello. Okay, that works there. Meaning, I'm going to refresh my browser. Let's say everything's working and you say JavaScript. It's still working. So that's maybe an idea to run it. So can this idea like this. If we say JavaScript, hello. So to run it, we say VoiceTrigger, give your subscription and your region. And we can say that runs. And when we say hello, that's the thing. I'm gonna quickly switch screens. Hello. Hello. Let me see. Shutdown, source, refresh browser. Kind of active. It's like a caching thing here. Hello. Okay, so that works. And if I say JavaScript. Okay, so there is a kind of a, like, yeah, I think that gets a capuchin. There is kind of a caveat. So what we do, so if I just stop this, you need to be able to run this first. Because if I say hello now, nothing works. So you must be able to go back into, just refresh your cache. But silly. Hello? Okay, that works. So if we go back to our screen, so here's the workflow. We VoiceTrigger, run your command while OBS is running. And obviously hello won't work. So what you do is you hide it again, then it comes through. That's the only way I can make it work now. So JavaScript, I think I'm out. So yeah, with that, I would say it is time for me to go sleep. So let's continue this thing later and make it even better. To see, well, it's a bit of annoying that it cannot work on a Docker container, but let's see, maybe we can create a Docker container or cognitive services as a sidecar container and have it still somehow work. It won't still work because that container still needs to push audio to, no, we will figure it out. But having said that, thank you very much guys for watching, for the folks that stuck around. Let me just see, got some new followers, that's great. Martin, thank you very much for sticking up. Like always, I salute you, and enjoy the rest of your night, and good evening for the US guys, and good morning for the Dutch guys. Cheers.